It's starting to feel like 2021 again because Kamaru Usman is back in the win column, right? One of the greatest welterweights of all time, showed his emotions, crying afterwards, and talked about his next fight. Kamaru Usman, once a dominant champion, at one point, defending his title 3 times in a year, was, at the highest peak of his career in 2021, lost in 2022, and went on a 3-fight losing streak, 2 to Leon and 1 to Hamza. And that Hamza loss is a bit of an asterisk, took that on short notice, and I honestly thought won the fight. I didn't think the first round was a 10-8. And Kamaru came back after a year and a half off, right? I mean, I guess probably recovering from injuries and doing whatever to go against Joaquin. We saw how good Joaquin handled Colby Covington's wrestling, right? He defended a lot of the takedowns, looked really good, and I thought was going to be able to knock out Kamaru, and a lot of people did. You look at the betting lines, they were pretty one-sided in favor of Buckley. But from round 1 to round 2, round 3, round 4, we see Usman dominate Buckley, like, just with the wrestling, looking like how he used to, and even better, adding on to his game, and, his ground and pound looking even better. And he took out the young contender in Joaquin Buckley in a shocking upset. I mean, we were talking about Joaquin Buckley, him maybe fighting Ian Gary. We were talking about after the Usman fight. We thought this was already a far gone conclusion. Little did we know that Kamaru still had a little bit gas left in the tank. Now, I will say that this was a feel-good moment, right? I mean, Usman, it felt so long ago, right, where he had that dominant run, but it really was not that long ago. And to see, him win and to see his reaction afterwards, we're going to take a look at that and look at, the other people he called out. What is next for Kamaru Usman? Because, we know this Belal Muhammad beef going on, where we've heard about this behind-the-scenes thing where they did a podcast about a year or two ago, and the podcast never came out. But apparently Belal started roasting Kamaru, going at him basically, for losing and all this and that, and apparently it resulted in a fight. Now, there's been dispute. Is this even real? Is this just a build-up of fight? Is this made up? I'm going to give you guys my opinion on all of that, guys, so stay tuned. Let's see what Kamaru Usman had to say after his win against Joaquin. So here, this was his immediate reaction, and you can see already pretty emotional.
Kamaru, man, first of all, congratulations. That was a fantastic performance.
You
were
emotional in the
by a lot of people
octagon.
heading into this fight, but did you know
Still
that's
trying
how
to
the
hold
fight
it together,
would look
man.
going into it?
This is. Look at him, man. This guy is lost for words. This is a guy who hasn't won in a year and a half.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I just had to get back in the lab, sharpen all my tools. I know it's been a while.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, look, right here, you can see just the emotion. And this is because, obviously, as a fighter, I mean, coming from Usman, who had one of the greatest years, and then immediately after that, going on a 3-fight losing streak, I mean, it does a lot for your confidence, as well as people, on Twitter, online, counting this guy out. People like me that, have said that he's going to get knocked out by Joaquin. Imagine fighting all that while battling, the preparation for fight. That is all-time stress, and we can see that on Usman. And, I mean, the fact that he was able to beat Joaquin, we don't see many 37-year-olds defeat young prospects like this.
It was impressive, and I think people did count you out. And I think if you look back at those losses, it's a little unfair to do so, right? No need to go over them. But Leon fight, you're winning into the last second. Second fight was very close, and then the Hamza fight, you took that on the circumstances you did. You appear to be quite emotional tonight as well. I don't want to get into your personal life, but is part of that emotion coming from the relief that you were able to pull off a performance like this and remind people just how great you are at this sport?
Yeah, so like Usman not even being able to put this together. Obviously, once he heard, I guess, about his losses, I don't know, I guess this is probably very troubling for him, to deal with these losses. Someone, like I said, that was at the height of their career in 2021, literally immediately after that, losing everything and being discounted. And it sucks because definitely the fans are harsh. Fans are easy to forget. Everybody, including myself, I got to include myself in this. I was calling him washed because I thought just the knees, the overall damage from his career that we've heard time and time again, I thought all that was going to play a factor. And I thought that, Usman was just going to be washed. I thought it was going to look really bad. I thought it was going to be a clean knockout, but I mean, look, it did get a little dicey in that 5th round, but overall, Usman dominated.
It's hard. I mean, it's been a while since, not just with getting back in here, but obviously getting in the win column. I battled a lot of things just to get here.
Yeah, he keeps saying battle a lot of things. I'm curious what those things are. He says he will reveal it one day. It could be injuries. It could be, I don't know. It could be personal details, personal depressions. I don't know. Obviously losing all these fights, it's tough.
Just repairing my body.
Yeah, I think that he's talking about injuries.
Physically.
Probably wondering if he could ever fight again.
A lot of things that I had to just kind of, I guess, expression would be fight a lot of demons just to get back in here. But, yeah. A lot that I had to go through, but thankfully I'm blessed with a great team, great support system, great family.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I mean, and here we're going to see Usman keep going on about, obviously, all that he's grateful for. And, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about, what his future is. And I want to show you guys what some of his plans are, what he's looking at, because while he's emotional here, he still is a fighter and he still wants to fight a lot of these top guys. So I want to show you guys what he said about Islam as well as Belal. So let's take a look.
Let's be honest, I'm the biggest in the division. And this is about entertainment. The UFC is an entertainment company. You want to make the biggest fight, it's going to be the winner of JDM and Islam. If Islam pulls that one out, former pound for pound, current pound for pound.
I honestly am not that against the fight. First of all, we always heard Usman say he wouldn't fight Khabib because him and Khabib were close friends. And Islam, while, yes, him and Khabib are two different people, I understand that, you would think, so it's a very close relationship. They have the same manager. Kind of seemed like they were more of a family, right? Granted, maybe more, distant relatives, but still. At the end of the day, Usman wants that title, so I'm sure he's willing to fight whoever for it. It's a lot different when you're a champion and, you have the belt than when you want the belt. Then you don't really have the luxury to pick and choose who you're going to fight and who you don't want to fight and this and that. But him and Islam, I think would be a pretty big deal, a pretty big fight. Usman has a huge name, right? And that's why I would not be surprised to see if he gets a title shot next in his next fight, because you never know how the division is going to play out. I could see, especially if it's JDM, maybe they want to build up JDM, give him another big name. But guys, keep in mind, this is a lot of, what ifs. So I could also see, Usman having to fight a Shafkat or a Belal, which lets us actually see what Kamaru Usman had to say about Belal, because like I said, they have a beef apparently a couple months ago. Belal went on Kamaru's podcast and Henry Cejudo's podcast, and it just went badly. Belal talking shit to Usman. They both fought. This is what Usman now has to say now that he's in the win column and Belal is now in the loss column.
I have to ask you, I think I know what you're going to say, but Belal Muhammad quickly tweeted, "See you soon." I know your eyes are on a title fight, but if the UFC comes to you, that's also a pretty big fight. Former champ for former champ. A lot of backstory. Is that something you would entertain if the UFC, came to you about it?
Who was it?
Belal Muhammad.
Who was that?
Oh,
former welterweight champion Belal Muhammad.
My God.
Next.
Oh my goodness, guys. He did Belal like that. He forgot the name. He forgot the name here. Now, obviously, Usman doesn't have good things to say about Belal. Now, some people have speculated this beef could be fake, and I could see it. I mean, we've never seen a video of this podcast, and it sounds like a wild, crazy story. But I could also see it being true as well. Like, I don't think it is the craziest idea. I mean, I could see, Usman and Cejudo have a podcast, and maybe they figured, hey, maybe we'd get some clippable moments from the podcast, maybe a little back and forth, but maybe they didn't expect it to escalate so much, because Belal himself can be a little bit of an instigator. We've seen in multiple instances that he could cause some trouble. And yeah, guys, I feel happy for Usman. I never really was the biggest Usman fan during his championship reign, but I always felt was getting a bit disrespected, and look, he took the Hamzat fight on short notice. People forget that. People don't give him credit for it because he lost on paper. But the guy's a legend, and for this video, I got nothing but good things to say about Kamaru. Maybe if you talked to me in 2021, I would have made fun of him a little bit, but hey, nowadays, I'm just rooting for the guy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my last video where I talked about Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes apparently happening soon. You guys are the best fan-based MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.